Good day, folks. I'm Jack Fry, and welcome to Deep Fried Sports Podcast. On Sunday, the Celtics swept the Pacers. Warriors moved up 3-1 in the series by beating the Clippers 113-105. Raptors took a commanding 3-1 lead over the Magic 107-85. The Blazers also did the same with a 3-1 lead over the Thunder 111-98. And yesterday, the Bucks swept the Pistons with a 127-104 win. Jazz also got a consolation prize win against the Rockets at home with a 107-91 win. Thanks for listening. Luke Walton has a report made on him that he had a unwanted physical advance allegedly against another woman while being an assistant coach in Golden State. Just another alleged crime of a man versus a woman in this Me Too movement. We don't know if it's true or not. The lawyer has come out and said that these allegations are false and they intend to prove them in court. He said that the person making the allegations is not a victim, they're an opportunist, and we have seen that happen before. I do feel sorry for these men who are getting falsely accused of things if they are innocent. And I don't feel bad for the guys who are getting in trouble for stuff that they did, but this whole movement has got me thinking, what the heck is going on with the criminal system? And if you're in the public eye, if someone says that you did something, it's completely tarnishing your name and your legacy, and guys are losing their jobs, and I just think that that's unfair, but I don't want to really open up that can of worms today. In the NBA, it's just what I really love about the playoffs is as the rounds progress, the intensity builds, and it becomes win or go home. I'd really like to see the first round of the NBA playoffs, instead of being a 7-game series, I'd like it to be a 3-game series. Think about that. The Sixers lost game 1 to the Nets. Can you imagine the intensity of a 3-game series when you're down 0-1 to a lower seed? Everyone would have to watch. The first 2 games of each of these series, I was like, I'll tune in, I'll see what's going on and enjoy a few minutes of NBA action, but I'm not going to watch the whole game glued to my seat. There's really nothing needed to be seen here. If the series was shorter, you'd have to watch, especially after Game 1, because Game 2 could be the end of it all. Imagine in the Clippers and Warriors series, where the Clippers won Game 2 in Oakland. It would be 1-1 going to Los Angeles. That would be amazing. The Warriors would have won the series, and the Sixers would have won their series too, but it would have been so much more watchable. Now, last night, the Bucks swept the Pistons. And, I didn't think the Pistons had any chance of beating the Bucks in this round. They just don't really have the star power. They have Blake Griffin, but he's operating on one leg. And he himself doesn't really have the power to carry a franchise like Giannis. Gosh, Giannis looks good. And the Bucks look like the best team in the NBA playoffs right now. Now, we'll see what happens next round when they face Boston, who also swept their opponent, the Indiana Pacers. That's going to be a really, really great matchup. I have Boston going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'll stick to that. But man, the Bucks look really good. They have shooters all over the court, with Giannis down low making his moves and just dunking all over everybody. It's pretty impressive. I do see that's probably going to go 7 games with Boston winning it. That would be them winning it on the road in Milwaukee. So maybe Boston takes it in 6 at home. That's probably the only way they do it. I don't know if they can get that 7th game win in Milwaukee. Jazz last night also got a win, and I call it a consolation prize because they're down 3-1 in the series. They were down 3-0, and no one has ever come back from being down 3-0 in the NBA playoffs. It's just never happened. It's got to happen at some point. Is it going to be the Jazz this time around? Well, I hope so, but I don't think it is. I'm glad the Jazz got a win, though, for the sake of their fans. It would have been embarrassing to get swept, but Houston is just incredibly good. So I don't blame them. If the Jazz would have got that win in Game 3 at home, this would be a series 2-2 going back to Houston, and I think they'd really have a chance, but being down 3-1, it's probably pretty much over. The Blazers, they look really good. And I really enjoy watching Damian Lillard when he's bringing the ball up the court. If you don't play defense on him, as soon as he crosses the half-court line, he's going to chuck up a three. And him and Curry have this range that's just unseen in the NBA. Along with CJ McCollum, that's probably the second best backcourt in the league behind Curry and Klay Thompson. So that's been really entertaining to watch. The Thunder have been a disappointment once again. They're a complete embarrassment, especially in their media press conferences after the game when they say, "Next question. Next question." Just answer the dang question, man. It's not that hard. It's the media's job to ask them. It's your job to answer them. It's kind of disrespectful to just say, "Next question." It's just stupid. I'm actually kind of glad the Blazers are running through them, and they should win Game 5 at home to take that series. The Raptors are up 3-1 against the Magic, and we all knew that they were going to win that series, but we weren't surprised that they lost one of those games. They're kind of just typically slow starters in the playoffs and don't really ever finish either. But I do see something different brewing in Toronto. With Kawhi Leonard and Siakam, they just look like a complete team. They play defense. They've got shooters. It looks pretty good. I see the Raptors moving forward to the next round to face the Sixers. Round 2 with the Sixers versus the Raptors and the Celtics versus the Bucks should be the best Eastern Conference round in years. Because in the past, it's always been, hey, who's going to give Cleveland a run for their money? Because they had LeBron, and we all know what happened 9 years in a row. LeBron went to the championship. It should be fun to watch. The Warriors should take care of the Clippers. And yeah, I mean, it's looking really good. The only series that has been really competitive, I'd have to say, is the Nuggets and Spurs, which is tied 2-2. And they play tonight back in Denver. I think if Denver wins tonight, they have a really good chance of taking that series. But, you know, if the Spurs win, they are going to have to go home and win Game 6 to take the series. And I have the Spurs to win that series as an upset, as the 7th seed. I didn't see the Nuggets getting through them. I like Greg Popovich's coaching, along with the talent that they have. I mean, you saw what Derek White did the other night, scoring over 30 points, and who expected that? That'll be an interesting game to watch tonight. Also, tonight we have the Nets and Sixers, so that should be pretty good. We'll hope to see the Sixers take care of that series and move on. I believe it's back in Philadelphia. Yes, it's back in Philadelphia. And the Blazers tonight as well. Next round for the Western Conference Finals. Looks like it's going to be Warriors versus Rockets, and then the Blazers versus whoever wins between the Nuggets and Spurs. I like to see the Spurs move on to the next round. I think the Nuggets are just one of the more boring teams. Jokic at center is extremely talented, but he doesn't play defense. And Jamal Murray is a good guard, but he is not consistent. So we'll see what happens. I like the Spurs still to win that series. They need to go into Denver tonight and steal one, because if it goes 7, Denver will probably win. In the NFL, we have the draft on Thursday. It starts at 8 Eastern. We all know what that means. It means they're going to probably dick us around for about a half an hour before they start the draft. And the first round is kind of annoying, you know. It's like the pick is in, and then the commissioner walks out and says the pick. But after they say the pick is in, it's like a minute, sometimes 2 minutes before the commissioner even walks out. And you're like watching this on TV, and the speculation is ridiculous. And I just, you know, it's boring. I'll watch the first round. I'll tune in for a little bit, see who picks what, maybe in the top 10, where these players are going. I'm really interested to see who gets Joey Bosa's little brother, Nick Bosa. He seems to be a playmaker, and there's a bunch of other really good players that I want to see where they go. Kyler Murray has been the talk of the draft, and I think he is very talented, but he's just not very big. And what does that mean in the NFL? Well, these days it doesn't mean as much because the quarterback is so darn protected. We'll see if he can actually do anything. Baker Mayfield isn't the biggest guy either, and he seemed to be very, very successful last year with the Browns. And speaking of the Browns, they look great on paper. I still have the Steelers winning that division. But the draft is on Thursday, 8 Eastern for the first round. I believe the second and third round is on Friday, and then the rest will be on Saturday, which probably nobody's going to watch. And it will be the NFL's 100th season, which kicks off a Thursday night game on September 9th with Green Bay at Chicago. That should be a great game. I'll be rooting for the Packers. I know I'm not supposed to root because I'm a podcaster. But hey, I don't really follow all the rules. I like Khalil Mack. I like Aaron Rodgers. I like players. I like football. I want to see a good game. I think if Green Bay would win, that'd be an upset, which is very entertaining. And that division is tough. The Bears, who won last year with that great defense, up-and-coming quarterback Trubisky. The Lions, who seem to always be able to pull off a few upset wins. But the Vikings are well-run. They're always good. If they could figure out their quarterback position with Cousins and he could learn how to win the big games down to the end, they might have a chance to win that division. They've always been pretty good at running the ball, and if Dalvin Cook can stay healthy, that should stay the same. Their weapons outside with Thielen and Diggs are incredible, and of course they have the great Kyle Rudolph at tight end. So I see the Vikings pushing, but I also like what Green Bay has done with their roster this offseason. Going forward into the draft, I will be very interested to see who the Packers pick up, who the Bears pick up, and who the Vikings draft. And we'll see what those players develop into during the season, if they can start or not. It should be very entertaining. I also have my eyes on San Francisco. They are my sleeper pick this year for the Super Bowl. We'll see what they can do with Jimmy Garoppolo. And Jerick McKinnon is back. Both of those guys coming back from ACL injuries. Kyle Shanahan is a great coach. He runs a tight ship. If they can improve that defense, I think the Niners can win that division. But, of course, the Seahawks are extremely good with Russell Wilson. He's got his new contract. We'll see how he does this year now that he's comfortable in the financial spectrum of things. Of course, he has Ciara as his wife, so he's probably going to be comfortable regardless, just like Tom Brady with Giselle. And the Rams went to the Super Bowl last year, but I believe they'll take a step back, just as the Bears will take a step back this year. It's looking to be very exciting this Thursday for the draft. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. My brother has told me I need to talk about hockey, although I don't really watch it very much. It is exciting. I know I don't have too many listeners who enjoy hockey, so it's going to be harder for me to get more into it, but maybe I'll do a little segment on hockey later. I'd like to talk a little bit golf and UFC. If you guys want to let me know what other subjects you like, let me know in the comment section. Like and subscribe my videos and share them with your buddies. It's been really great doing this podcast over the last month, and I thank you for supporting me and listening to me. I hope you continue to do so. Thank you. Music has been provided by Ben Sounds, and tonight we will see how it goes in the world of sports. I love it. Goodbye.